On this vote, the ayes are 218, the nays are 211, with one answering present. The resolution is adopted.
Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy, or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced? Frankly, it is expected, because when you
This is a formal announcement of the House vote tally, confirming the procedural legitimacy of the action taken. The numbers: 218 in favor, 211 opposed, and 1 present, highlight the narrow yet decisive passage of the resolution. It shows how congressional authority works under the Constitution, where outcomes are decided by recorded votes rather than by rhetoric. The declaration that the resolution has been adopted is a definitive institutional act that transforms the issue from one of debate into one of implementation. By anchoring the controversy in official legislative action, this moment emphasizes the seriousness and weight of what follows, beyond speculation or opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've heard from my colleagues the reasons why the Representative Omar should be removed from this committee, but I feel like all the reasons have not just yet been stated, which is why I rise to add for the record. We've heard about the comments that were made regarding anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli views, but I rise to add to the record that as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I've sat there and heard the representative actually spew anti-American rhetoric as well. I've been in that committee room where the representative equates Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban. Absolutely unacceptable for a member of that committee. I've also heard the representative equate that it is the United States' fault that there is turmoil in Venezuela. That is not because of the oppressive socialist and communism that has spread throughout Central and South America and Venezuela at the hands of the Maduro and Hugo Chavez regimes. That is unacceptable.
In her remarks, Representative Omar offers a personal and philosophical response to her removal, framing the move as an effort to silence dissenting opinions regarding American foreign policy. She describes herself as marginalized and influential at the same time, implying that her critics view her as dangerous precisely because of her influence. In Final Take, The Future of the Party, the metaphor of the wolf and the silent shepherd introduces a moral narrative in which an act amounts to betrayal. Omar's attempt to reframe institutional discipline as a larger conflict over conscience, voice, and moral responsibility within government is made clear in this segment.
And as a New York representative, to hear the representative belittle, to try to diminish the worst terrorist attack on United States soil on September 11, 2001, as some people did something, that is unacceptable as well. And I hold the same standard for this side of the aisle that I do the other, because when another colleague on my side said something about 9/11, I also voted to have her removed from the Education Committee because I thought that was inappropriate. So I'm being consistent here, and I hope my colleagues will do the same to show that this is about consistency and accountability, because we should not have an individual with those views on the committee that is tasked with representing our country and our Congress to foreign nations.
The speech that was delivered by Representative Nicole Malliotakis serves as a formal justification for Omar's removal based on committee responsibility. She asserts firsthand experience on the Foreign Affairs Committee, emphasizing that Omar's rhetoric extended beyond controversial opinions into what she describes as anti-American equivalents by citing specific comparisons Israel and the United States to Hamas and the Taliban. Malliotakis posits that national representation is incompatible with the issue. In the speech, committee membership is portrayed as a trust that requires conformity with fundamental national principles rather than a right.
Featuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Whereas elected members of Congress take an oath to bear true faith and allegiance to the United States without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar took an oath of allegiance to the United States upon becoming a citizen, declaring, "I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen." Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements.
Focuses on Malliotakis' criticism of Omar's Venezuela comments. She puts the blame for Venezuela's instability squarely on socialist rule by Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro, rather than on U.S. actions. Omar's perspective is presented as dismissive of authoritarian accountability because the argument is structured to contrast ideological interpretations of global instability. This disagreement is presented as disqualifying rather than merely ideological in the context of oversight of foreign affairs, bolstering the claim that Omar's worldview damages U.S. diplomatic credibility.
Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions. Whereas Representative Omar assured the Somalians she spoke to, the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interest of Somalia. Whereas Representative Omar continued, for as long as I am in U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopia or others. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interest of Somalia from inside the U.S. system.
Following that, the speech addresses Omar's remarks regarding the attacks on September 11th, specifically critiquing the language that minimized the nature of the incident. Malliotakis emphasizes that being clear when describing terrorism is not a choice based on semantics, but rather a moral obligation. Importantly, she demonstrates consistency by citing her own vote to discipline a party member for similar behavior. By basing the action on uniform standards of decorum and respect for national tragedy, this segment aims to avoid accusations of partisan hypocrisy.
Whereas George Washington warned in his farewell address of 1796 to guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism, and further declared citizens by birth or choice of a common country, that country has a right to concentrate your affections. The name of American, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than any appellation derived from local discriminations. Whereas these statements by Representative Omar clearly violate the oath she took as an elected member of Congress to defend and protect the United States Constitution. Whereas Representative Omar has exhibited the treasonous tendencies George Washington warned about, and her actions must be condemned by all members of Congress who adhere to the oath they took upon assuming office. And whereas by openly admitting her efforts to advance Somalia's interest using her position as a United States representative, Representative Omar has revealed herself to be a foreign agent acting on behalf of a foreign government. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure.